This is a Ukrainian government website. However, you'll notice that the actual site at the, if you can see the top, I don't know. I guess it doesn't actually show you the site, but I mean the link, the URL. But the URL for this page, this Ukrainian government page, is privatization.gov.ua. So UA obviously is Ukraine's government website, and this is .gov.ua, except it says privatization, and the word privatization is spelled in the American way, not the British way. And most everything else on the site is in Ukrainian, except down at the bottom, who's this funded by? USAID and a couple of other groups, but USAID, of course, being the U.S. NGO, it's like non-governmental, or actually, I don't even know if it qualifies as an NGO, but it's supposed to be an aid organization when in fact it's used by the U.S. to facilitate coups throughout the world in order to put into power those who we find favorable to our foreign policy. So that's who this is funded by. But now, others who actually have translated some of the site talk about how this literally is showing you the things you can buy in Ukraine. And then it also has a page in English showing you how to do the purchasing of Ukrainian assets. Here is that page. How to purchase small privatization object. How to buy a privatization object, ? And it shows you the process of how you too can buy up pieces of Ukraine, which is, part of our proxy war goals was to sell off pieces of Ukraine to various corporate interests, allies of the United States. And why not? I always said, if you're gonna create a proxy war and you're gonna destroy an entire society and really, really crush it and crush its culture and crush its infrastructure, why not get a little something out of it for yourself? Why not? Why not get a couple of perks along the way? But here's what this chart says. It starts off, browse the list of assets at privatization.gov.ua. Then pick an asset that you analyze its information, study sales conditions, register with an electronic marketplace so that is authorized to sell privatization assets. Fill in an application from the participant in an auction. Upload documents, pay registration fee, guarantee deposit, take part in the auction, and win. Pass the qualification check and sing an auction protocol. I guess that's a terminology I'm not familiar with. Sing? Anyway, and pay the value of an asset and sign a purchase agreement. You are the new owner of part of Ukraine. I mean, it really is just like this dystopian, crazy shit that they're just like selling off pieces of Ukraine because they can, and because that was part of the goal all along. And let's not forget that Zelensky, besides just being a puppet, has been very influential and prominent in the selling off of pieces of Ukraine. Here is an important report just a few months ago from Yahoo News.
All right, we want to pause here because we've got the opening bell this morning, and there's someone quite interesting who's ringing the opening bell on this Tuesday morning, first trading day after Labor Day, and that's remotely. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine ringing the opening bell remotely, as you can see there at the New York Stock Exchange. So a reminder, quite a stark reminder here that, of course, the war is still ongoing. We talked earlier in the show about the implications of that war for...
I love how she goes, this is quite a stark reminder that the war is ongoing. You mean the fact that he's telling Wall Street, telling corporate America and corporate world that Ukraine is open to be sold off to corporations? That's a stark reminder. No, that's a stark reminder of the fact that we have fucking stolen this country. We're selling pieces of it to people. And Zelensky, along with plenty of the Ukraine higher ups, are part and parcel to this. They're not opposed to this. They're working with Wall Street. They're working with the largest corporate entities in the world that, of course, are either based with or allied with the U.S. And here's another stark reminder that the war is ongoing, as she says. Zelensky is working with BlackRock, the largest. It's the largest. It's really the terminology is a shadow bank. I mean, it's a wealth fund, an investment firm, but it's really, they call it a shadow bank. It has over $18 trillion. I believe it's $18 trillion to its name. It is in that sense, it is far wealthier and has more money than most countries in the world. It owns most everything you can think of. BlackRock and Vanguard are either the top shareholders or one of the top shareholders in most of the largest entities in America and much of the world. And they own the most important things. So like media companies, if you go through all of our media companies, you will find that BlackRock and Vanguard and BlackRock are really in bed with each other. They are the top shareholders in, well, Vanguard is not public, I believe. So Vanguard is one of the top shareholders in BlackRock. Anyway, it's a circle jerk between the two of them. It's a reach around situation between BlackRock and Vanguard. But if you look at any of these media companies, the biggest ones, Comcast and Disney and Apple, you'll find either, and they of course own everything else. They own CNN and all the others. You'll find that either BlackRock or Vanguard or both are within the top 3 shareholders. So that means everything that's done by these entities is not going to go much against anything that BlackRock or Vanguard wants. Now, it goes also for weapons contractors, most big banks, deforestation companies, big oil companies. All the biggest companies, big pharma, big ag, are connected to BlackRock and Vanguard in some way, real estate. And so here we have BlackRock running the fire sale of Ukrainian assets. BlackRock, so this headline from CNBC from a few months ago says Zelensky and BlackRock CEO Fink, by the way, that's literally his last name, which if you look it up in the dictionary, it means detestable person. Couldn't even make that up as a joke. BlackRock CEO Fink agreed to coordinate Ukrainian investment. Oh, Zelensky's working with BlackRock. Isn't that interesting? And that clearly is just because he wants peace and democracy, right? That's why he's working with BlackRock to sell off pieces of Ukraine. It's just because he wants peace and democracy and freedom. BlackRock Financial Markets Advisory and the Ukrainian Ministry of Economy signed a memorandum of understanding in November. Yeah, I think the memorandum of understanding is that Zelensky has the U.S.'s hand up his ass. That's the memorandum of understanding. That's where they left the memorandum of understanding, was actually up his ass because they're puppeteering him. Zelensky and Fink agreed Wednesday to, quote, focus in the near term on coordinating the efforts of all potential investors and participants. I mean, isn't this amazing? They don't even wait till the war is over because, of course, they want the war to go on. Most of them want the war to go on as long as possible. But they don't even wait for the war to be over to be like, hey, we're selling it all off. Come one, come all. Grab all our assets. Grab my assets. I don't even care. I don't care if you grab my assets. Fucking grab away. I got great assets. Grab them. Anyway, this is a horrific update. But again, not surprising. It is surprising how kind of like public it is, how in your face it is. They're just like, here it is. We are selling everything. We have a website called privatization.gov.ua where you can go and buy up pieces of Ukraine that was supposed to. Here's the thing. Even if, let's say you misunderstand everything that's going on in Ukraine, in the proxy war in Ukraine, which also former CIA Director Leon Panetta has said it's a proxy war, among many others who at the top of our ivory towers who have said it's a proxy war. But let's say you misunderstand everything going on there and you just support Ukraine and you just have a flag wrapped around you and that's all you wear all day, every day. And you're just like, yeah, wouldn't you still not want Ukrainian assets? Like if you actually cared about the Ukrainian people, not want everything to be sold off to giant corporate entities to just own and exploit? Like even if you didn't understand any of the reality of what was going on there, Wouldn't you be like, oh, shouldn't that still belong to the peoples of Ukraine? No, just sell it all off. Sell it off. But okay, there it is. Privatization.gov.ua.